my environment would basically look like. I have uh, essentially a node. I've also tried this on a Ubuntu VM on GCP as well, but today I'm going to show you on my Mac, which is essentially hosting 4 nodes through what's called as Rancher Desktop. And I've got multiple namespaces, and I'm having all of these containers deployed here. Um, okay, so this is my Rancher desktop. Like I said, we have got 4 nodes. These are virtual nodes deployed. And I also have my site visible. So if you wish, you can also access it. So it's called c86mini-mini.makelabs.in. Um, all right. So these are all the pods that I've deployed. Again, there's fantastic documentation on Camunda official documentation site as to how to use Helm scripts to basically, deploy to a cluster. So I've used many of that documentation. Okay, and so these are the namespaces that I created. I'm also playing a little bit with security. That's why I've installed the Istio system as well. But otherwise, if you're initially playing with it, perhaps 2 namespaces, for one for Elastic Kibana and then the other one for Camunda would be sufficient. And yeah, here, I mentioned to you that I think when you install ELK, there are some certificates that are generated, and those certificates are configured as secrets within the Kubernetes environment. And plus, in addition to that, we've got a number of other seed configurations that are also available in this forum. So your typical admin passwords, key clock, and operate, all of those secrets are seeded through this particular secret. And yeah, I've got all these services running, endpoints and so on. So like I said, so this is really good if you if you want to run the platform and do a little bit of development on top of it. But what if you want to present this to your security team and get the the sign off? Perhaps you have to go one level deeper. So when I started exploring on that front, I came across this application called Kieli. So let me switch over. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with Kieli and Istio. So I played with this a little bit. Some of the functionality is still broken. I'm yet to look into what is the root cause for it. But like I said, I think this platform is up and running. So these are the namespaces. I've got Elastic namespace, and I've got 2 applications deployed here. And I've got Camunda deployed in this particular namespace. And if I go to traffic graph, this is something really interesting. So as you can see, there's a visual representation of what applications and what components are running. So this is quite useful if particularly if you are debugging an environment and you want to know where the problems are. Kind of visually gives you that some hints as to where things could be wrong. And currently I have an issue between connector and operate. Like I mentioned, that is still work in progress. Now you can see all of the workloads, all the Camunda workloads are here. I don't have anything else running except for Camunda and Elastic and the associated configurations. And so one of the things that for you to certify from the security team, one of the detail that you have to present is the overall architecture of the components, and also the interaction between these components. and also with external world. So I found this very useful because you can go to each component and you can see, what the inbound traffic is looking like, what protocols are being used. You might have observed in the high-level architecture that there is a HTTP REST API ingress as well as gRPC. So you can basically see which other components interact with connectors, for example, and you can have some security and traffic management enabled so that you secure these interactions. Now, in my environment, I have disabled all of this so that I can get the base up and running. But typically, this is just a starting point, and then you need to tighten the screws a little bit on each of those interactions. If you again, my favorite is Zeep Gateway. So in my environment, I have not secured the Zeep gateway. So I wanted to deploy BPMN process definitions and play with it a little bit. So I have kept, that 26500 default port open. But as you can see in the traffic, so this is like a real-time information as things are happening. It is basically showing you that okay, these are all the inbound traffic and the outbound traffic. Uh,
So Raghu, we have one question in
yeah,
chat, but before that, it,
yeah,
this is not a part of the standard distribution, right? So is this open source, or how is it?
yeah. So Kiali is open source. This is not part of Camunda, but I found this useful, like I said, for the details that it offers once you deploy it in any application in a Kubernetes environment. So this is not part of Camunda per se.
Okay. There was one question from Anubhav that when you added the certificates as a secret in Kubernetes environment, and
Yeah.
you can verify that via zbctl command provided. So did you observed any error called as no CA certificate at the path, or were you able
Um,
to manage the certificates directly by adding it?
okay. So with
So,
certificates, yeah, go
okay.
ahead.
Yeah. When we install the so we can either do CS certificates or self-signed certificates, right?
Yeah,
For SSL.
yeah,
So, when we create a self-signed certificate and in the runtime environment, when we put them as secrets in Kubernetes, so
yeah,
after that we have to verify it, right? For ZB gateway. Uh,
yeah.
so what happened with me there? I was getting the error like there is no CS certificate found at the given path.
Hmm.
So I was giving the name of the certificate actually there. So whatever
Okay.
there was in the documentation.
Yeah.
I tried multiple other things also, but I was not able to do it. I mean, not able to verify it. So my self-signed
Hmm.
certificate was working for identity and other components also, but not was not able to verify via ZBCTN command. That's what I'm asking. Like, did you
Okay.
get something like that there?
So Zeep control, I think I have not tried Zeep control CLI with HTTPS per se. I have disabled that. I'm using the plain HTTP at the moment. Um,
Okay.
but I think certainly with certificates I faced many errors, but very often what I have noticed is that it has got nothing to do with Camunda, but mainly to do with the environment in which
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Right.
are
Right. Right.
deploying.
Right.
Yeah, so generally any search on Google would be a good starting point. But from what I'm seeing, so are you able to like deploy through modular? Because Zeep control, I'm assuming that you are trying to deploy either BPMN or DMN assets, right? Is that what
No. No.
you were
So
trying?
no. So I was able to deploy via modular desktop modular. What I was
Hmm.
trying to do. So initial self-managed setup was done. Everything was
Yeah,
working,
yeah.
and it was on HTTP
Hmm.
initially. Then we tried to do it with HTTPS,
Okay,
and for that we need SSN certificates.
okay, yeah.
That's where these sensor and certificates came in the picture.
Okay. Yeah, I
So,
think
hmm,
like I said, I have not tried Zeep Control CLI
okay,
with
okay.
HTTPS endpoint. But perhaps you have to enable debugging and look at the finer details.
Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Particularly with self-signed certificates, I know that as a learning tool, these are your starting point, right? Your favorite starting point. But I think you have to gain sufficient understanding of how to deal with certificates. A fair amount of that knowledge is necessary, if you're keen about self-managed and getting things up and running here.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think so. One of the errors that I explained, right, since we're talking about certificates, so this is the ELK installation. So if I can show you the certificate, right? So by default, if you see the common name, right? So this is referred as Elasticsearch-master, just the name, but it's not in the fully qualified domain name convention, like dot followed by the namespace name dot svc cluster local. Um, so when I moved Elastic to a different namespace, when I started bringing the server up, I faced this error that the DNS and the certificates are not matching. So in order to avoid or overcome that, I had to make some tweaks in how the certificate is generated. So I added all of these as alternate names. So as you can see, I've included .elastic, and so with this, I was able to overcome that issue. Perhaps I think the other thing is you have to the way Kubernetes allows the endpoints, right, as the pods within the namespace or pods across namespace when they talk to each other, they actually use slightly different conventions. So you have to basically understand that a little bit so that you can debug the issue properly. A lot of times things will work from your host machine, but it may not work from the pod perspective. So you need to go to that pod level and try to debug the issue from there on.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Actually, mine was deployed in EKS. That's where we were doing it.
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, if you have access to a proper Kubernetes environment, that's even better. But like I said, I wanted to have a very low cost alternative for my learning experience. So I've played with this kind of setup.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. And has anyone tried coming back to this Keely view, right? Has anyone tried to see, this kind of detail? Is it available through any other uh, method? I'm happy to learn about it. So essentially, I think again, whatever you can do through the project lens. So this is the project lens ID for Kubernetes. In case you're not familiar with it, uh, you can do the pod logs. Like I mentioned, this is like checking the logs is something that we all love doing, right, as technical folks. So whenever there are any errors, at the moment, I am facing one particular issue. Let me just briefly describe that as well. So what's happening is I have deployed the Camunda platform. Like I said, I wanted to start securing each of the interactions, even within the Camunda components. I wanted to apply MTLS. So when I started moving in that direction, I noticed that the connector and operate, they're not able to communicate with each other. And you can see that from here as well. So none of the no traffic has actually gone through successfully here. And what I've noticed is that there is a PKIX error. It's basically failing to reach the Elasticsearch endpoint. Although I have made all the checks to make sure that the key store is readily accessible, but still I'm seeing this error. I still have to debug this. But typically, one of the things like when you install a self-signed certificate, um, you have to make sure that the corresponding key store is loaded into your pod. So let me show you that configuration here. So if you go to the operate, so there's a one particular step that generates this custom key store. This is part of the Camunda documentation, and this file is already there, and this configuration is also there. And you can see that this is coming from a secret called Elastic JKS, and that is still there. But since I have enabled MTLS on top of like Kubernetes, I'm assuming that this Istio proxy is basically blocking that self-signed certificate. So I'm kind of debugging that still. But nevertheless, I think for today's session, I just wanted to show you like how does it feel to like take the vehicle on a highway, right? So far, I've been playing with Docker and mostly where you don't get to really understand, what's going on within the Camunda platform. Whereas, this is one step, getting to know some of the other details.
So Raghu, if someone has to do this kind of a setup, what kind of machines would you recommend minimum configuration should be having?
So I think if you have access to a proper Kubernetes environment on GCP or Azure and so on, I think that would be the first recommendation. But if you're like me, that you want to look at another alternative where you have to really play with it, then I think I have invested in Mac M2. So this is one configuration where I've seen many of the things work just fine, and in fact I've deployed like 50-60 times in the last 3 months or so, and this is like a very good starting point. On GCP, I've also documented, for example, if you go to this site, cepnow.makelabs.in, I've documented few things here. If you have a Linux VM with 20 vCPUs, 32 GB RAM, and so on, you can basically mimic the same thing what I'm showing you right now. You can mimic all of that for learning purposes. Of course, there is some cost associated with it, but this is not really that big as compared to like owning your own Kubernetes cluster. So this is perhaps the other alternate I can think of.
All right. And have you utilized the default Helm charts provided by Camunda, or you had to modify them in some extent?
No, I think so. Whenever I had to modify, right, it's because some of the things are different in my local environment. For example, I wanted the ingress from my own domain to land into my system. So for some of that, I may have played with it, but pretty much majority of the Helm charts are from the Camunda documentation side.
All right. And maybe one last from me, and then I'll open to the forum. So instead of using Geeklow, can we use any custom identity provider? So let's say if I want to use Azure AD tomorrow.
Yeah.
So can I have my custom Spring Boot implementation? Will I have to have?
Yeah.
And I have to add Spring Security in that sense, or how it will be?
Yeah, I don't know whether you've seen the latest communication about upcoming 8.8 version. So Camunda is launching other options in place of Keycloak. You can plug in with your own identity system. So I'm also looking forward to that release. I think this is going to happen in the next quarter or so. But at the moment, I think key clock is the kind of default mechanism that's available. But with 8.8, in addition to key clock, I think they've made that process simplified so that you can plug in your own identity system as well.
All right.
So perhaps waiting a little longer is perhaps better. If you really want to play with that side of the work.
Or we can have a Spring Boot implementation, right? In that sense.
I think you cannot like provide all the functionality that a typical identity system will provide. So I think that will be. I do not know like much about how you can basically go about doing that. But what I've read is that if you have Azure Active Directory or any other standard application, right, for identity and user management, you can plug in that quite easily with the 8.8 version.
Sure. All right. No, thanks a lot for this. It was very interesting of how you can set up the infra. Anyone, you can unmute yourself before we move to next topic. You can ask your questions to Raghu.
Yeah. So I think I'm open to take questions, but this is my email ID. If you want to drop a note, I'm happy to share further details. And also, I'm chapter leader of Bangalore, so I welcome you all to register there as well.
All right. Thanks, Raghu, for presenting the interesting topic. Now, let's move to the next one. I'll hand it over to you, Arindam and Akanksha.
Thank you. Thanks, Raghu. It was really nice, although I'll connect with you to get more insight about this. And we also encourage people to connect with us, like Raghu already highlighted. He is managing Bangalore community. Guys, please try to connect and share your knowledge, get knowledge. Okay, cool. So this is Arindam Mukherjee, and today I'm going to present migration details. So before this, I was supposed to conduct this session, but she is not doing well from last 2 days. Still, she joined, but I don't think she will talk a lot. So I'll be talking a lot. Now, Anmol has already given my intro, so I don't need to spend time on that. So I can directly jump into our topic, that is the migration topic, right? Let me share my screen quickly. I believe I have the right to share my screen. Yep, cool. So I'm very bad in PPT preparation. A couple of guys helped me to do this. So yeah, this is the presentation. Camunda's. It's a topic of a discussion, right? Every time we see that in LinkedIn, migration. So people who are new to Camunda, they always ask me, why migration? Is it some kind of like Java? We do a migration from JDK 7 to JDK 8 to JDK 17 or 21, whatever it is. So people who are new, I can see a lot of people are here, right? Around 70 people are here. And I believe many people are new to Camunda. So I have a question to all of you, that why we need Camunda 7 to 8 migration. So that is the first point. You can see my agenda. So I'll start with that discussion, but definitely I would like to know from you guys. And after that, I'll talk about that. What are the things we should consider? I should change this point. Yeah. And then the migration strategy and a couple of more discussion. So before getting into the slide, anybody would like to say something, that why we need to do this migration? What's the need? Feel free to share your knowledge if you are already doing some migration. If not, you can ask me questions. Anybody?
Maybe for new features
For new features.
or for security fixes or enhancement, whatever.
Okay, so got one answer, that is new feature. Cool. What else?
Camunda 7 is reaching end of life. So I think a lot of enterprise are looking for this upgradation. So that is one of the reason why they are moving from C7 to C8.
Do agree, Ashish. I do believe the same point that end of life is October 2025. So there is another question related to that, but okay, let me get few more details, few more answers from other people. Go ahead,
That is
guys.
just to add, right? That is extended till 2032, I believe, right?
2030.
Yeah.
That is
2030,
the
okay.
support which we are supposed to get if we are enterprise customer only.
Yeah.
And there is no enhancement, only bug fix and security patches, those things. So that is a support, no enhancement. All right, so let me share my screen quickly. Any other opinion? So one, that is new feature. Another, we don't have a choice. End of life is coming in October 2025, right? But we have a choice, like Anmol highlighted one point. Okay, perfect. So where is my, oh, this is Canva. Couple of points which I have taken from here and there in internet, and what is that? LinkedIn. So why is Camunda 7 to 8 migration is needed? Future proof. When I say future proof, I mean to say that whatever BPM solution we are using right now, is there any new way to implement it, or is that particular BPM is going to extend that capability? So the answer is, when it comes to Camunda, Camunda 7 is not going to extend its features, right? It's not going to extend the version after 7.24, I think. So they are mainly focusing on Camunda 8. So definitely our solution, our existing solutions should be also future-proof. We can't run with a backdated version of any particular tool, right? Because we'll not get support. Many people are using Camunda 7 Community Edition in many MNCs. Many people are using Camunda 7 Enterprise Edition. Now, people who are using Enterprise Edition, definitely they will get support for, till 2030. But people who are using Community Edition, there is no support, there is no enhancement, right? And the repository will be archived. So in that case, you have to make your product, or you have to make your solution future-proof. So for that reason, I have written this one. The second point, now everywhere it's a cloud-based solution, correct? Everybody wants a cloud-native solution. And Camunda is mainly focusing on that. If you see Camunda solution, so they are offering two services, right? One is SaaS-based, another is self-managed. So you will get this benefit as well. You can go for cloud-native solution when you go for Camunda 8. This point, I think Ashish, you highlighted, Camunda 7 will reach its end of life in October 2025. So after that, there is no product enhancement, or there is no new version will come. So we'll not get any upgradation. In that case, we don't have a choice, right? We have to upgrade. Couple of more things when it comes to Camunda 8. It is having a new engine. Definitely, that's a lightweight engine in microservice world. Everybody wants a lightweight solution, lightweight feature, right? So ZB is a lightweight engine compared to a couple of popular BPM, I'll say. I should not say the name. So that's why ZB is getting more popularity. The architecture, if people who are coming from Camunda 7 background, and in maximum cases, you might have seen that we are implementing, or we have implemented our solution with embedded approach, right? And when it is embedded approach, your server, your Camunda engine, and your logic all are sitting together, right? So it's not decoupled. So when it comes to scalability, if you want to scale some part of your application, some specific feature of your application, as it's not decoupled, so you have to scale the entire solution. Although in Camunda 7, we had a remote-based approach, but I didn't see, uh, I mean, it was supposed to get the popularity, but then Camunda 8 got introduced. Yeah, Camunda 7 never focused on connectors. If you see the count, it's only three. Official support is only three: HTTP, SOAP, and email. But when it comes to Camunda 8, almost all the partners are creating Camunda connectors. Camunda company itself is creating Camunda connectors. So many organizations, they don't want to invest for the utility development, utility code development. They just want to have a solution which can give the service, right? I want to send an email. I don't want to write utility codes. I just want some configuration, and that thing should be able to send the email, right? So I'll go for connector. Again, connector is not a new approach, I'll say. All big BPM players are already having connectors. So Camunda 8 is also focusing on the connector-based approach. So these are a couple of things. I'll not say these, only 4 points are there. We can list down at least 20 more points. Couple of points which I'm discussing here, which take us towards Camunda 8 migration. Any question from this?
So one thing I wanted to ask, so every version is valid for 10 years only. So we have to switch for a newer version whenever there is end of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my second question is there anything related to loads and volumes? Because I think when load and volumes keeps on growing, so new releases provided some better improvements. Hence, we need to switch to new version as well.
You're talking about the scalability part, right?
Yes.
So scalability generally managed by two approach. One, your code base, your existing environment, and another, the service which you are going to use. Like in this case, you are going to use Camunda 8. Okay, now are you going to use Camunda 8 SaaS or you are going to use Camunda 8 self-managed, right? So if you are going to use Camunda 8 SaaS, definitely Camunda is going to manage the scalability. Whereas if you are going to use self-managed, in that case, it's your responsibility to manage the scalability part. Did I answer your question?
Yep, that is fine. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so now the next thing is very first question. It's a question. Okay, everybody is talking about Camunda 7 to 8 migration. Do we need to do it immediately? A couple of days back, I saw a post in LinkedIn where Camunda was highlighting the support till 2030, right? So the question is, do we need to migrate our running application, running solution immediately to Camunda 8? Whenever there will be a discussion to migrate Camunda 7 to Camunda 8, this question should be there first. Because you have already paid maybe for your Camunda 7 enterprise license, you will get the support. You will get, now you need to consider that can you run this for another 2-3 years? Because based on this decision, you can decide whether you will go for Big Bang or inside out, or what is the approach you are going to follow for migration, right? So anybody would like to comment on this? If you people are already doing migration, did you people discuss about this point?
Yes, I think
Anybody?
for other migrations, yes, we do consider that whether it is end of life and end of support, both, whether we are getting till what time we are getting the end of support. So before end of support, we need to make sure whether we need to migrate, and we need to make sure that we have migrated before this support ends.
Perfect. Thank you. So once you are done, okay, let's say we have decided that we will go for the migration. Okay. Now the next question is, many organizations are running in Camunda 7 Community Edition. So now when you'll go for Camunda 8, I believe everybody is aware of this, that Camunda 8 is a paid thing when it comes to production ready solution. For your learning, for your simple development, you can use trial version, but when it comes to production, you have to pay for this, right? So you have to consider the budgeting. You are done with this. You are ready. You want to go for the migration. Next is licensing. We need to consider these things, right? When we talk about migration, we have to consider these things. Recently, Camunda has changed licensing uh, structure also, licensing policy also. Anybody is aware of that? Prior to this, it was PU,
Yeah.
PI, DI, and TI, right? Based on that. But recently they have changed. Anybody is having any idea? Would you like to highlight something? That was a bit, it was very tough to calculate when I was doing the initial R&D for one of my clients migration. So we had to count all the process instance, decision instance, task user. We created a Excel. We wrote all the process definition list, prepared all the BPM list, DML list, and everything. We got all the details. How many DI has been executed throughout the year. So that calculation was really, I did it. That calculation was really very complex, I'll say. So it's good that they have changed their licensing policy. People who are interested, you can also check Camunda's official website. You will get the idea. So as per my understanding, it's now process instance-based licensing. Okay, now let's say people are happy, your client or you have the budget, you'll go for this. And then the architecture, right? What is the current architecture of your application? Camunda 7 and Camunda 8 both are following different architecture, right? The engine is different, right? The protocol is different. The persistent layer is different. So definitely you have to consider the architecture of your existing application and how you are going to fit Camunda 8 in your existing solution. If you are thinking to not build a new solution, completely new solution like a big bang. Perfect. Let's say we are all set with all these three. What next? Now you'll write your stories and everything, refinement and everything will be done. You'll prioritize your workflows, because let's say you are having 100 workflows, and out of 100 workflows, you need to understand which workflows we should address first. If I'm having 100 workflows, definitely I have to understand which workflows are more popular in terms of receiving client request, which we use less, all the things we need to consider. And then we have to prepare the list. Because now we are going towards the technical implementation, right? All the architecture and everything is done. We are going towards technical implementation. So consider all the workflows. This is something very interesting, and I did a lot of R&D here, because in one of my Camunda 7 project, we had used Camunda extension properties. We had used field injections. When I started searching in Camunda 8, so it was not there. So you have to understand the limitation of the new tool and what you have used in your existing solution, and what's going to be the alternative solution until that feature is coming in that new tool. Did anyone notice this kind of limitations while doing the migration? If you have done, anybody?
Yeah, yeah. I think there is one capability which was there in Camunda 7, that is Camunda Event Bus. We used to, I mean, you can use a listener and you can get some events from the engine, but this sort of capability is missing in Camunda 8. So yeah.
I think 8.5 has introduced one of the listener, that is execution listener, where only a start and end event you can listen. But still, we have to wait to get the task listener. Okay, that is not yet introduced. So that will be there in coming days. Okay. Yeah, but apart from this listener, yeah, that's a good observation, because we also had this challenge. That time we didn't have this execution listener in Camunda 8, and we have used Camunda 7 listener extensively.
Dharmesh, you have your hand raised. You want to ask something?
Yeah, I have a question around licensing. So, we have community edition of Command 7, and we have built one kind of a product based on that, and we have deployed many verticals on the client side. So, as you mentioned, Camunda 8 is a paid one. So, what could be the challenges? Means, in terms of licensing, do we can we integrate Camunda 8 or not?
You have to pay if you want to integrate.
Okay,
That is one liner. Okay.
okay, okay, got
Yeah.
it.
Any other question, anybody? People who are new, who are learning Camunda, maybe it is a bit boring that, hey, what he is talking, 7, 8, limitation, blah, blah, blah. But believe me, it's interesting. When you do some migration from 7 to 8, you will face a lot of challenges, limitations. It's a fun.
And Arindam, can I continue to on 7 till some time, or is there will be
You
some
can.
issue?
You can. If I show you this cockpit, you can see there
Yeah.
is a message. It's okay.
Okay.
But you can, as this is under Apache license 2, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can use it.
Yes,
But over the time,
coincident.
it will become, what I'll say, backdated, right? You will not get
For
any update.
Fortunately, we are not exposing any Camunda UI. Just we are using as a REST endpoint, and we are embedding those stars in our portlets. So we are not, we have our own custom UI kind. We are not using any cockpit and all those things. We are using just own UI on top of that.
Okay, even if you are using your UI or Camunda's UI, doesn't matter. The engine capability you are using, right?
Yeah,
It's
correct,
the custom API only, which you have exposed for your
correct.
front end. But ultimately, your engine is not going to get any upgradation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that limitation will be there. That challenge will be there in future.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you. Thanks for sharing your experience.
Hi, Harindam.
Hi.
Hey, I have one question. So suppose I have several different process instances which are running in Camunda 7
Mm-hmm.
and which are lying in different states, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if my requirement is to move those as is to Camunda 8, what should be the approach for that?
I never recommend people to play with the running process instances. Even one of my project processes runs for 1 year at least. Okay, but we went for side by side migration. The processes which are running in Camunda 7, let them run in Camunda 7. Our new things will run in Camunda 8, because if I have to write adapter or whatever solution I will write, I have to read the entire solution. I mean entire process instance details, where exactly my token is, and then I have to again map it in Camunda 8 solution. Are you getting it?
Yeah, got it.
So it will be more costly. We did a lot of R&D on this.
Okay. And how about the historical data?
Historical data, your DBA will come into picture, right? It's their responsibility to take the periodical backup.
Okay.
That is a regular practice, right? Historical data backup is a regular practice.
Means I want to say like how this historical data will be managed in Camunda 8 when I have to move from 7 to 8. How do they manage that in 8? How do they bring the data to 8 when there's
Okay, I'll be
no...
talking about the persistent layer in a while. Okay.
Okay.
So let me continue, and then I'll talk about persistent layer. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So you are done with all the things. Workflow discussion has been done. Limitation has been done. Now let's go to the DMN, your business rule. You might have seen in Camunda 8, they have changed the data type support, right? And prior to this, we had support of Joule, we have support of EL, we have support of field, everything in DMN. Now only field expression, correct? So you have to also consider your DMNs. In many project, I have seen several number of DMNs are there, right? And they also write script in the DMN. Camunda never encouraged us to use scripts in the DMN, but yeah, we had that option, and DMN engine was able to parse those scripts. Now we can't go for those things, right? Because Camunda is supporting only the field.
So what if you have written some groovy or you have written some EL in your DMN? So you also have to consider that along with the data type. Now in Camunda 8, DMN is not supporting all the data types which we were using in Camunda 7, right? So we have to consider those things. These all things I'm sharing from my experience, which we have we had in last few months, I'll say, or maybe last 1 or 2 years. Yeah. Less popular thing. Anybody would like to comment on this? How many people are using form, Camunda provided form in Camunda 7? Anybody? In maximum cases, I have seen that people are happy with the cockpit or operate or optimize, whatever you say. I mean, but when it comes to task management, Camunda's task list is very vanilla. I'll say it's very simple. They also have some thought behind this. They definitely want you to manage your task the way you want to do. So in several companies, I have seen that they create custom task management portal. Okay. So if you have a custom task management portal, in that case, definitely you are not using Camunda provided form. But if you are using Camunda provided form, let's say you are having very less number of user task, right? You are having huge great automation where very less interaction of human is there. So in that case, maybe you also have to consider forms if you have used it, because now it's a JSON based form. Now, okay, we have done with BPMN, DMN, form. These are few main things. Apart from that, the custom code. Like I think Praveen or Dharmesh, somebody was talking about custom UI, right? So when you say that I have a custom UI, we are not using Camunda provided UI to start the process or play with the process. So in that case, definitely you are using Camunda provided REST API to get connect with the engine, or maybe Camunda provided SDK to get connect with the engine. Let's take an example. Let's say I have created a front-end application, which application will just submit some button and then it will start a process. So behind the scene, what you are doing, you are going to auto wire your runtime service and you will start the process, or maybe you will use Camunda provided REST API and you will start the process. In Camunda 8, we don't have the same REST API, right? Initially, it was only gRPC based communication, but now they are introducing REST API. So you have the luxury to use REST API, but again, that API is completely different from your Camunda 7 API. Or if you want to use a ZB client to perform the same task, in that case, you have to change your code, right? So you have to adjust your custom code which you have or which are very close with the Camunda 7 SDK. Till now, any question, anybody? Any question, anyone? No
Yeah.
question?
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
So, is Camunda also introducing REST APIs for deploying workflows, BPM files directly, or is gRPC is the only way?
Anubhav, I believe I have not explored that API still now, but I believe all the APIs, whatever we have used in Camunda 7, eventually those things will be available.
Okay, because right now we are only using gRPC. That's why I was.
I'm not sure about the new endpoint related to deployment. I have not checked that.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll not comment on that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now this is one of the important thing I'll say. In past, I have seen that many people were not having correct understanding to, segregate the data while using Camunda 7, because Camunda 7 is having a persistent layer, right? It is using RDBMS. It is having several number of tables, correct? Many times it happened that you are putting all the data in Camunda's schema, right? We had some guideline that, okay, you should have separate schema for Camunda, separate schema for business data. If possible, you should have a separate database for Camunda. You should have a separate database for your business data. But in many occasions, that has not been followed, right? So Raghu was talking about the this persistent layer also, right? That it's not a RDBMS solution now. Now it has been changed. Stream-based solution, Elasticsearch is also there, right? So if you have put a lot of data in Camunda's layer, your business data, it happened in many projects I have seen. It happened. The proper segregation was not there. So in that case, definitely you have to also consider that part. That now you have to segregate, because Camunda 8 is not at all focusing on your business data, right? It is only focusing on PE specific data, right? That is process engine specific data. Process engine needs some data to execute some workflow. So only that data you should put in Camunda's context. Rest of the data you should manage in your RDBMS or whatever persistent layer you have, right? So this is another important consideration when you are going to do migration from Camunda 7 to Camunda 8. And then when it comes to Camunda deployment, based on your selection, if it is SaaS, yeah, definitely if a banking client is there, any fintech client is there, they will go for self-managed. But if you are using SaaS, it's very straightforward. Your BPMN, DMN, and form will be deployed in Camunda Cloud. The rest of the code base will be deployed separately. Even if that is present in your project, right? Still, when your project will get connect with Camunda Cloud, it will deploy all the things if you are using Camunda's SaaS. And I'm not getting into CI/CD and all those things that your DevOps team will create. Now I'll not, okay, I think we have another, how many minutes? 20 minutes, yeah. So quickly, I'll show you that I have a small project in Camunda 7, and now how we can, or what are the things we should consider while converting that project into Camunda 8, right? So a couple of guidelines are there. First of all, I think prior to this, we should also talk about this. Just have a look on this. I have taken this from Camunda's LinkedIn post. So when we talk about the migrations, it could be Big Bang, it could be inside out. I currently I'm working in inside out model only, and then New World. So Big Bang is basically when you want to have a new solution. You don't want to go for old solution. It's a completely new solution, right? Then it's a Big Bang. When it comes to inside out, that is basically part of the application. Okay, it will take longer time. Part of the application you want to like gradually migrate. You want to introduce, okay, let's say you're having application, and in that application there is a notification service module, right? Okay, first of all, I'll go for this notification service module, which will migrate in Camunda 8. Rest of the things will remain as it is. And then again, let's say there is some other layer is there, right? Other module is there. So one by one, I'm going to migrate. It will be like very gradually you are going to do this. And when it comes to New World, so that time entirely new application. So in my I have here one example. So if you see this application which I have closed, Camunda 7 to Camunda 8 migration, in the same application, let me open this. In the same application, I want to run Camunda 7 and I want to run Camunda 8. Okay. So few of the module, again, if you talk about like microservice architecture, definitely you will consider one application and then you will do the migration. But again, I did some R&D on this. If you want to run Camunda 7 and Camunda 8 together, that is also possible. So basically you have to adjust your dependencies. That is first thing. Second, the main challenge which I was facing, that is, if you are putting your resources, like these are Camunda 7 specific BPMN. Now, if you are having Camunda 7 specific BPMN, once you will start your process engine, whatever BPMN you have, let's say you will also put 4 more Camunda 8 specific BPMN. So Camunda 7's engine will try to read those files as well. Then we'll get some exception. So better segregate those things. Okay, so I did a segregation here. So this particular project is having Camunda 7 and Camunda 8 both. Segregated resources. If you see here, this is segregated resources. Definitely you can also have better solution. Let's say you will tell Camunda process engine that, hey, even if you have multiple, workflows which are coming from 7 and 8, you should only consider 7. Maybe you can have some custom annotations or whatever solutions you can have. But I thought to segregate these things and play with that. So here, single application with Camunda 7 and Camunda 8. Okay, that is one approach which I have followed. Another approach, now let's say this is running in Camunda 7. It's running actually. If you see here, you should be able to see Camunda cockpit I'm using. Yeah, Camunda cockpit. And this process is running in Camunda 7. So I will let the process run in. Okay. Let's say it's a long running process which will take some time. So I'll let the process run in Camunda 7, no problem. Let it run. I'm not going to disturb this running process instance. I'm not going to consider migration of running process instance. I'm considering migration of the entire solution, right? So here I'll leave it as it is, let it run. Then I'll go for a new solution. So it's a new solution which I'm building now. So definitely you have to set your environment in such a way that whenever new request will come, this should route to this new node where your Camunda 8 is running, or new pod where your Camunda 8 is running, right? So it's another solution which is completely focused on Camunda 8. I have my Camunda 8 specific form. And now if let me take you back here. Now I'll talk about these things. That how we are going to do this migration. What are the steps we have? First of all, definitely you have to add the dependency, right? Camunda 8 is having separate dependency. Camunda 7 is having separate. So we need to adjust Camunda 8 specific dependencies here. So we are adjusting here all the dependencies, right? Step 1, adjust your dependency. Definitely you have to add your cluster details. Add migrated BPMN, DMN, and form. If you can recall, I was talking about these things here that consider your BPMN, then DMN, then form, right? So while migrating, definitely I have to consider those things. And now how I'm going to do this migration, right? I have list of BPMN, I have list of DMN. So anybody would like to give some, if you have done migration of your BPMN and DMN, would you like to share your experience?
I had done a test project on this, but like there's a tool from community and there's a tool from Camunda. But I prefer doing it from scratch, like creating a Camunda BPMN in 8 from scratch.
Okay, fine. So that is one approach, but let's say we are having 100 BPMN, right? So it will be time consuming, correct? We can have
Yeah, right.
several number of BPMN file, right? Several number of DMN. So definitely plugin which community is offering, but the limitation or the issue or the problem with that plugin is many times it happens that our Camunda modeler get upgraded and the plugin is not getting upgraded at the same time. So if do I have that plugin? Yeah, okay, I have not added that plugin. So if I close it, I can show you I have a plugin, modeler 5.20. Okay. I have a plugin. Now, this plugin is not working properly. It's a Camunda 7.20, right? Now, let's say I want to convert this into Camunda 8. If I go with this plugin, convert this model, I'm getting issues, cannot read properties. So these things happens when your modeler is getting upgraded, your plugin is not aligned with that upgradation. So I have faced this issue with several number of plugins. So that's why, okay, again, I have to disable this plugin. I have to restart my modular. So a lot of issues are there where all the things are not working properly. It also works, but not always with all the modular. So I'll close this. So is Camunda, so Camunda has also done one thing and good thing. Where is that? Okay, let me go there. Okay. Camunda event, okay. Creative processor. Okay, now it is there. Changed it. Got it. What I'm creating? Am I creating a cluster? No. Yeah. Give me a minute, please. Okay. So now look at here. I'm going to upload something. Let's say the not DMN. Let's say I'll upload some Camunda 7 specific thing I want to upload. Camunda community demo, Camunda 7 sample. Okay. Let's say I'm going to upload this. I can upload. I can open. You can see the message. One Camunda 7 resource has been imported. Some blah blah blah. Okay. Now you can see this. If I download this, I can download this to Camunda as BPMN 2.0. And let me download this. Now in C8. Okay. I'll go to my modular. This time I'll go with the latest one. I'll go to file and say open this. And then should be able to see that. Now look at the version 8.6, right? Prior to this, we have seen it was 7 point something. Now it has been changed. So if I click on this service task, now there is no mapping. If I have some, gateway in Camunda 7, and if I had added some condition, so those things are not going to be migrated. You have to manually adjust those things. Let's say there is a gateway. Okay. So again, you have to write that field expression here. Okay. So that is your responsibility. The mapping of your service task, mapping of your gateway, mapping of your listener, everything has to be managed. Mapping of your, let's say there is a message event, right? Message boundary event. So here, the way correlation was happening in Camunda 8 and in Camunda 7 is having little different kind of settings. So I have to provide that variable name here. So all those things we have to manually adjust. But definitely it's gonna save a lot of time, right? In the same context, I'll just take another 2 minutes for this. I was connecting with like one of the company, India-based company. They have also built a solution. They are building a solution, I'll say. They have given me the trial that they have created this Camunda 8 migration tool. Still in progress, it is not yet finalized. They have just connected with me that as I am doing this migration presentation, they want to highlight this. So if you see how they told me, I have to log in, I think. I need to log in. I think I forgot this. Give me a minute. How was this? I forgot. Let me sign up. Already have an account. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sign in. So once we'll sign in, you can see that tool. Okay. Then I'll say, okay, Camunda 7. I want to change the BPMN or DMN form. I want to do a bulk upload. So that is disable for me. Okay. So Now I can say, okay, let's say I want to do, I want to convert something like, okay, loan originating Camunda 7, loan originating SRC test resource. What happened? Oh, all. Let's say LOS. I'll convert this. Once I'll say convert, it will convert, and then we'll be able to see this that it has been converted. They're using bpmn.io. You can see it's an open source library from Camunda. And then let's say I want to download this, so I can download it. And the beauty is they are working with bpmn, dmn, form, and everything. Even the bulk update is also there. They will also generate some reports. I don't have access of all these things. They will also generate some report. And bulk upload I like because it will save a lot of time. And then if I go to the modeler and I can say, hey modeler, please open this newly converted file. That is the converted bpmn. They are yet to provide a correct name. Now,
Arindam, quick time check. We have 3 more minutes to go.
okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
I have done with my last slide almost. Okay. So here you can see that now it is in Camunda, sorry, 8.5. Right. Prior to this, we have seen, sorry, where it is, somewhere it is. And I can just directly do this deployment and a couple of changes like here. If you are having a simple condition in Camunda 7, that will be changed to field expression. By this converter is going to change all those things by field expression. So manually, we don't have to do anything. Only a small change, I think, for this message correlation, and the okay. And then that's all. I'll say, hey, I want to deploy this. Okay, a couple of things are there. Definitely, we have to also adjust the service task. Okay, add your service task because the job worker has been changed here in Camunda 8, right? So you people can also give a try with this tool if it is available in the market. I got access of this. Coming back to our discussion. So we have managed our dependency, our cluster, all the BPM, and now you have to choose whether you want to go for a plugin in your modeler or Camunda's modeler, a web modeler to convert your BPM, and you have to adjust all the service tasks, send task details, script task details, the listener details. You have to adjust all your expression language with field expression language, and then adjust your Camunda 7 provided SDK, like if you are using a runtime service or identity service or any other services, you have to change, you have to adjust your code as per Camunda provided library. And definitely you have to also adjust your test cases. Any question, anybody? And now you can see my project is running. I'm sorry, in Camunda 8 also. Let me show you that as well. I'll take another 2 minutes. Where is that? So let me start it with the task list. It's already open. Yeah. Process, leave approval or loan originating. Yeah. So I'm starting a process. So it is running in Camunda 7. I have converted all the code base. Like, okay, let me show you first. Submit application. Assign this to me. Home loan. Okay. If I go to this operate, I should be able to see the process. So now it's a new solution. One thing which is running in Camunda 7, you can see here. And my new solution is running in Camunda 8. So wherever a new request is coming, it will be redirected to this, and we should be able to run it. So parallelly, both the application can run. Okay, that is what I'm trying to say. And what adjustment I have done? I have changed service task to some job worker. I have changed my existing execution listener with this approach. Looks like a service task only. Okay, so code adjustment is done, BPMN is done, DMN is done. My form, we can adjust our form also and go for your deployment. So it's a example. That's why it is looking very simple, but when it comes to real-time project, it can take more time. Any question, anybody? Migration is not that small. I mean that it takes time. A lot of R&D, a lot of things are there. Anybody, any question? Please let me know. UL is extended. That is another message. Okay. So
Thanks a lot, Arindam, for presenting. If you have any question, guys, feel free to reach out to Arindam, Raghu, or myself. All right. Thanks a lot, guys, for joining us today. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you
Thank
guys.
you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye all.